Welcome, everyone, to this continuing course on comprehensive instructions on various basic meditation techniques. As you'll know, then the structure of the course is that I introduce a new topic every week. Really, the way to do it is to spend a lot of time on each one of these techniques. If you are diligent and you apply yourself throughout the week to the instructions you've received, then hopefully you will gain some personal experience and insight. Uh, as I said, normally, then you might, for example, just focus on the breath for several months or even a year. So the idea is that if you gain some experience, then you'll be able to apply this to your own meditation when you do your own practice and you don't have the support of a teacher. And also people who are looking back over the course on the internet, then they can follow it sequentially in their own time. So we're still looking at the four foundations of mindfulness, and within that, then we are on the section that looks at the mindfulness of body. And today we've come to one of the analytical contemplations of the body, and that's looking at the various different substances that make up the body. And generally, then we kind of cherish our own bodies, and we're also attracted to the physical form of others, for example, lovers, people we admire. And we see this to be something very pure. And so this meditation is the meditation on the 36 impure substances of the body. It's to reduce the clinging to your own physical form, but also clinging to the form of others. And the reason why we want to do that is based on this. For example, our self-cherishing, then we suffer a lot. You know, we want to treat our body very delicately and spoil or pamper it. And also we give rise to desire for the form of others. And this is a technique that goes right back to the time of the Buddha's own community, where the monks and nuns were instructed to meditate on what the body is actually composed of. So in the Pali Canon, I think it's 32 substances. In the Tibetan tradition, we meditate on 36. I'm going to list them off. You don't have to specifically think of each one of these or remember each one of these. You can look online to remind yourself. But for example, it's hair, facial hair, teeth, nails, excrement, urine. These are all things that are within our body and possessed by the body. Sweat, mucus, tears, saliva, the secretions, like sort of pus from the eyes, etc. The skin, flesh, that being the meat of the body, blood, bones, fat, marrow, veins, sinews, lungs. You see, when you actually think about what the body's made of, it just isn't so attractive, right? These are all things that we don't really, we don't see to be wonderful. If you cut the body open, then for us, it's quite disgusting. Heart, liver, spleen, kidneys, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, colon, urinary bladder, grease, lymph, pus, phlegm, bile, brain, and cerebral membrane. So you can always listen back to the video, and you'll see that list, but it's also on the internet, Wikipedia, etc. Now, the thing is, for example, if we see our spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend, then when we see them, we think, wow, the hair looks really nice, right? We have this feeling like, you know, it's very beautiful and it's something attractive. We see these sort of be essentially alluring to us. But if we were to take that hair, like pluck a hair and then put it in our food, then it becomes something disgusting, right? But through association, we think, oh, isn't your hair wonderful? Or the skin, right? We see the skin to be so beautiful. If we see like a famous actress or an actor, we think, wow, they have got such good skin. But if we just peel back the skin, we find that it's kind of just a sack of all these filthy things. So when you meditate, what you do is that you sit and you develop this awareness of body. And then you can just scan through your body and think of all the things that the body is made of. For example, we think somebody has a beautiful eye, but if we remove that eye, then it immediately becomes something really disgusting. It's what we get in horror movies, right? They'll show somebody holding some eyeballs up, and we think, oh, that's terrible. Makes us shudder. But when we see the eyes, we think, oh, don't you have beautiful blue eyes or green eyes? Don't you have beautiful blonde hair or green hair for some people? So that's a good example, right? Because for some people, they think, oh, green hair is terrible. For other people, they think, wow, green hair is really cool. So it's all associative. So what you do is you sit in meditation, and if you want, you can just scan the body from the top to the bottom. You can think the hair, the hair on the head. If I pluck that out, would I want to eat it? For example, the eyebrows. Right? And then we can think about what's inside the skull. You don't have to remember each substance. These days, we're really fortunate because we've all seen, like, in school, we do anatomy and biology. So we all really aware of what's inside the body. So you can just remember the sort of things as you scan through your body. What are the lungs like? The body's full of blood. There's all this lymph and things, these fluids. And so you do that as you meditate. And the more you do that, what happens is that you lose your kind of clinging. The most important thing in meditation is to reduce our clinging. And we lose this kind of false notion that the body itself is something pure and beautiful. But actually, it's kind of made of all these things that we find quite disgusting. Um, and hopefully that will reduce your suffering and also lose this identification we have with the body as being this kind of pure thing that is possessed or part of the self. So, as usual, then what we're going to do is we'll say the aspiration prayers, and then I'll ring the gong, and then you sit mindful of the body, and then scan through your body and remember all the substances that come to mind that the body is composed of, and then we'll have a break and we'll do some mantras, complete the session in that way. Oh, glorious, precious root Lama, above my head on a lotus moon seat, you care for me with great kindness. Please bestow the cities of body, speech, and mind to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Sangha. Until enlightened I go for refuge. May I, by the virtue of meditation, become awakened to benefit beings to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Sangha. Until enlightened I go for refuge. May I, by the virtue of meditation, become awakened to benefit beings to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Sangha. Until enlightened I go for refuge. May I, by the virtue of meditation, become awakened to benefit beings where the supreme and precious awakening mind has not arisen. May it arise. And once it's arisen, may it not diminish, forever continue to flourish and thrive. I prostrate, make offerings, and confess, rejoice, request, and supplicate. Whatever slight merit I gather here to Buddhahood, I dedicate.
me hum mani be me hum om mani be me hum om mani be me hum om mani be me hum mani be me hum om mani be me hum om mani be me hum Om mani be me hum, mani be me hum. Om mani be me hum, om mani be me hum. Om mani be me hum, mani be me hum. Om mani be me hum, om mani be me hum. Om mani be me hum, mani be me hum. Om mani be me hum, om mani be me hum. Om mani be me hum. By this merit may I obtain omniscience, defeat the enemy wrongdoing, and so free all beings from the ocean of existence, with its stormy waves of birth, aging, sickness, and death. Precious mind of awakening, may it arise in those who are without it, and never fade from those who hold it, but continually grow from strength to strength. May the glorious Lamma's lotus feet be firm. May bliss and joy fill the reaches of space as we gather the accumulations and purify obscurations. May I and all without exception be swiftly brought to Buddhahood. So, when you do this practice, then there are benefits. You don't really want to develop a kind of feeling of disgust, like you want to crawl out of your body. I mean, it's supposed to reduce your kind of clinging. But for example, many people these days, men and women both, then they really suffer because of aging, right? And it's like in the media and the movies, and everybody has to look perfect. So a lot of people suffer from this idea of getting old, skin getting wrinkly, and if you do this meditation, what you'll find is that that suffering will reduce and you'll pay less attention to these things. You know, people like want to do lots of makeup and stuff, try to preserve or keep this kind of feeling of youth. But if you start meditating on what the body actually is, then you should reduce your clinging. And for me, when I did it, um, then the strongest feelings I had were kind of all the nerves and veins around the eyes going into the brain cavity. And I could feel like all the fluids and things and the mucus going in and out through my nostrils. And also the tongue, I found, to share you my own experience. The tongue felt like this kind of piece of meat or something stuck in my throat. It's really funny because we don't normally think about it that way. Then if we meditate on what the body actually is, then it starts to feel more like kind of like a machine or something, an animal, you know? And then we lose our sense of clinging to this self. Um, I'm starting two new classes in June with Sagadawa. It's this special festival in the Tibetan calendar, Buddhist calendar. And one will be the Green Tara Sadhana that will start, that will be running on Friday afternoons every week for a while. We'll cover out the actual liturgy of Green Tara and how to practice that. And the other one is Gampopa's Jewel Ornament of Liberation, or the Ornament of Liberation. And that will be on Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock this time, locally. So anybody who wants to join that, then you can use the Google form to apply online. And also, there's going to be another retreat happening locally in BC, and that is mid-October. So if everyone who's in Zoom meeting could just hang on for a few minutes and we'll say goodbye to the people on YouTube. And see you next week.